Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here on this important day, International Women's Day, and I'm glad to be part of this important discussion. Women, especially in Muslim majority countries, are frequently portrayed as victims of a repressive social order, so bad so that they are rendered unaware that they even deserve rights. This is often reinforced by mainstream media, especially in the West, which portray Muslim women as silent, submissive, and relegated to domestic sphere, while men monopolize active roles. By extension, there is a held perception that Islam subjugates women, and therefore Muslim women should be liberated from their faith and protected from Sharia. We need to hear from the women themselves how they perceive Islam and their status in the Muslim society. Do they really feel they need to be liberated? If yes, from what to what? Is there merit in the arguments of those who say that women's lagging status in many of Muslim majority countries is attributable to Islamic principles? Do men in Muslim majority countries believe that women should have rights? These are some of the key questions that we need to answer on important days like the International Women's Day. By contrast, many women in Muslim majority countries say they see no contradiction between the faith that they cherish so much and the rights that they deserve. Islam is far away from being an obstacle to the progress of the women. It is actually perceived as a critical component of their upward mobility. What does this mean? This means that reforms in Muslim societies will likely be achieved if promoted within an Islamic framework. While the Muslim women want gender parity, it should not come in form of cultural transplant. No, it should come on their own terms. It is okay to defend their rights, but within their own cultural context, and defend the rights of all the women, including the women in Palestine who are harassed day in, day out at the checkpoints. The suffering that the Palestinian women endure at the hands of Israeli forces seem to be ignored. Why is this the case? Also important to note is that although Muslim women value the role that Islam plays in their daily life, these women are not uncritical of their leaders. Day in, day out, they are criticizing their leaders. And what women say affects them in Muslim societies is not different from what their male counterparts are complaining about: political stagnation, economic deterioration, democracy deficit, lack of unity, extremism. These are issues that need urgent redress. May I also add that men and women have the same basic needs and have similar legal rights in matters of civil law. However, in Sharia, Sharia is an area that is most criticized in the West for gender discrimination. But under Sharia, men and women share different complementary rights which do not necessarily favor men. For example, a woman carries no financial obligation for anyone, to support anyone, not even her own self, even if she is very wealthy. Under the Sharia, her financial obligation is 0. She maintains the right to keep her salary and own property under her name alone instead of as joint property, although she and her children have legal right to her husband's property and her husband's earnings. The complement to this financial advantage is that her inheritance is half ratio to that of the male. Therefore, giving women the same legal rights would inadvertently take away such advantages that Muslim women have historically enjoyed.